Look, if you are a business owner who wants to generate more leads and clients from your podcast and you're interviewing guests on your show, that is perhaps the stupidest thing you can do when it comes to driving sales, and is the fastest way to actually ruin your credibility and guarantee you don't get any clients from your podcast. Here's why. Imagine for a second you ask someone out for a date, and then you decided to invite your most attractive, smooth talker or best friend to go on the date with you. And then when you get to the date, you don't say a word and you let him do all the talking. Look, don't be surprised when dinner ends and your date all of a sudden wants nothing to do with you. And it's because in that scenario, your best friend became the main character. Your best friend had a spotlight on them. They were the person talking. They were the person building the like, know, and trust with your date. So look, what the hell does this have to do with you positioning yourself as an authority, building your credibility, and growing your business with your podcast? Here's the thing. If you want to position yourself as an authority and generate more sales from your podcast, your listeners need to see you as the person they like, know, and trust. The person who is the authority, the person providing the value, being the smooth talker, helping them solve their painful problem. But the problem is when you invite guests onto your podcast, guess who's not in the spotlight? You. Guess who's in the spotlight? Your guest. Guess who walks away with your listeners wanting to work with them? Your guests and not you. Because in that scenario, your guest is the person who becomes the main character. You become this assistant who's probing and interviewing the guest. However, that's not the way you position yourself as authority your audience should buy from. And this is exactly what happened to one of our clients, Joshua. He was stuck in this trap of being the side character rather than the main character. Had his podcast for 2 years, struggled to grow and struggled to gain sales. So we encouraged him to try out solo podcast, and he did. And the first 7 days, he booked 4 sales calls, closed 3 deals, and collected $16,000 in cash through his business. And that's when he finally understood the power of authority positioning. And he did this by prioritizing solo podcasts, not interview-based podcasts, more solo podcasts in order to grow his business. And my advice and encouragement to you is for you to do the same.